You ready?
Ready as I'll ever be.
It will kill.
The Zulu Iklwa.
All right.
That's cool.
The Zulu Iklwa was introduced by the famous Zulu king, Shaka. He reigned over the Zulu Empire's expansion through southern Africa from 1816 to 1828. A celebrated warrior in his own right, Shaka developed a number of military improvements for the Zulu, including the mandatory adoption of the Iklwa. Replacing long, light throwing spears, the Iklwa was shorter and featured a blade at least 10 inches long. The spear wasn't thrown, rather it was thrust into the enemy and would be carried along with a cowhide shield. It was a fearsome weapon utilized against British colonialists trying to expand their African colonies. The Zulu Iklwa was also wielded by Zulu warriors in the classic film Zulu.
The Iklwa was an African weapon used by the Zulu warriors. Though it's a short spear, it also acted like a sword because of its design. To see how sharp your blades are, I will take your weapon and try to cut through this slab of meat. Lyle, you're up first. You ready?
Yes, sir, I'm ready.
Well, Lyle, your handle over here allows me to grip and give it more weight at the tip. So when acting like a sword, you can really feel the power when you're dropping down. And as you can see, it cut cleanly through the meat. Overall, sir, your weapon will cut. Good job.
Thank you.
Matt, you're up next. You ready?
Let's do it. Seeing Lyle's blade cut like it did, I'm going, ah, crap. I'm so nervous right now.
Okay, Matt. A very light weapon like this, if held like a slashing sword, could be an issue when you have a rounded handle. Makes it kind of hard to index. But the important thing is, it will cut. Good job.
Thank you.
This is a kill test. The Iklwa was so deadly because up close you could use it in different ways and maneuver the blade. To see how much lethal damage your weapon can do, I will deliver 4 killing blows on this ballistics dummy. Lyle, you're up first. You ready?
Yes, sir, I'm ready.
Well, Lyle, your weapon here feels good in the hand. Definitely, it's easy to maneuver the blade in different ways. It's so sharp that it lacerated and disemboweled the gut right here. It cut through all the way into the sternum right there, lacerating it, and then right into the heart. Your weapon, sir, will kill.
Thank you.
All right, Matt, you're next. You ready?
Let's do it.
Well, Matt, your leather wrapping on the handle here made it very comfortable. Your edge over here is very sharp. It lacerated deep into the guts. It went all the way into the ribs, the thrust deep into the abdomen. Overall, sir, your weapon will kill.
Thank you.
All right, next up is a strength test. Dave?
So, gentlemen, what we're going to do to test the strength is we're going to tap the tip of your blade into these blocks of wood and then pry them to the side. If your blades are tempered properly, they should hold up beautifully, and just pry a piece of wood out. If not, well, we'll see. So, Matt, you ready?
Let's do it.
That's not your blade. It's okay.
Okay. Yes. I did it.
What I saw as I was prying this out was that blade flexed quite a bit at the tip, and then that wood gave way. It's nice. It's got just enough movement that it didn't fracture. The neck's still true here. Well done.
Thank you.
Lyle, you're up next. You ready?
Yes, sir, I'm ready. I wasn't expecting the tip to break off. My heart just fell out of its place.
And as I started to go to the side, there wasn't any flex in that blade much at all. It just popped right off.
Everything's been fun, but this looks dim for me.
The judges have made a final decision. The Forged in Fire champion is Matt. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Matt.
Thank you, Lyle.
Lyle, your blade did not make the cut. Please surrender your weapon.
Thank you all for the opportunity. It's been a great experience.
thank you.
Once the tip broke off, I expected this. I gave it my best shot. Congratulations.
Thanks, Lyle.
I can go home my head held high. I enjoyed it. I made something I was proud of. It was just an oversight on my part.
Matt, congratulations. You are the Forged in Fire champion and will be receiving that check for 10 grand. Good job.
Thank you.
I don't know if you realize, but I flexed that blade to at least 45 degrees before it popped that piece of wood
You
out.
scared me when you did that. I thought for
Scared
sure
me.
that would... This is amazing. This is really cool. I can't believe I did it. It's obviously what you're going for, but to have it happen is... Ah, that's cool.
The Zande spear.
Ooh, boy.
One of the deadliest weapons used by the Zande tribes of Central Africa, the Zande spear was used for fighting as well as for hunting. Known throughout history as conquering warriors, the Zande exhibited unmatched skills on the battlefield. Affixed to a wooden shaft, the spear was suitable for throwing and attacking from long distances, but its thrusting ability made it just as effective as a close combat weapon. The sharp upper and lower tines and multiple spikes inflicted deadly wounds both upon entry and exit from the victim's body. The Zande's lethal use of the spear can be seen highlighted in the game, Deadliest Warrior.
Bladesmiths, I will take your Zande spear and deliver killing blows on this ballistics dummy. Drew, you're up first. You ready?
Let's make those intestines out-testines.
All right, let's do that. I like that.
Right now, I'm about to hear Doug say it will kill, and that's the only thing I'm here for.
To help me out today, please welcome back RJ Markaida. He will have the pleasure of wielding your Zande spear. All right, Drew, it feels very good in the hand. It lacerates deep when we thrust this into the chest cavity, into the heart. On its way out, not only does it take some skin with it, but it also took out some ribs. Your tines right here from the side entry, the spear went all the way through, and on its way out, it took everything that was in its path. But there is one issue. As you can see, your tip right here broke off. But other than that, this is a weapon that is deadly, and it will kill.
Thank you.
All right, Jason, your turn. You ready?
I know it'll cut.
All right, Jason. The balance of your weapon feels good. When it penetrated into the chest cavity, it hit a rib and broke it in half. Got into the heart, and there was no edge damage on your tip. All these hooks right here did what it's supposed to do. Into the abdomen, ripped everything out, even the barb. And the beautiful thing about this is, it will kill.
That's what I wanted to hear.
Say hello to my little friend here. Today we're going to test the overall strength and construction of your Zande spears by, well, we're going to fire them out of this cannon into this wood block wall. Now, I'm not concerned about what your spears do to the wall. I want to see how well your spears survive the wall. Drew, you're up first. Are you ready?
No.
Well, we're going to do it anyway.
Let's do it.
That worked really well, Drew. Despite the fact that you did lose a little bit of your tip in the kill test, didn't have any effect going into that block wall. Matter of fact, you sunk all the way down here. Very impressive. Your shaft is fine, nothing loosened up, nothing cracked. Your spear head is still solid. Overall, survived. Very good.
Thank you.
So Jason, what are you thinking?
Thinking, let's make splinters.
That's a problem.
Oh, God, no. I'm seeing it hang up a bit on the barrel, and my heart just absolutely sinks.
Jason, we've got a big problem here. The parameters that we set for these weapons are for testing purposes. Because your blade didn't meet the 1.5 inch parameter with a circular cross-section, we cannot fit the shaft of your weapon down the barrel of our testing apparatus here. And because we can't test it evenly and fairly with Drew's blade, I have to ask you to please leave the forge.
This was absolutely worst-case scenario. I'm proud that I got this far, but I'm incredibly disappointed.
Well, Drew, in a competition where attention to detail is just as critical as craftsmanship, you are the Forge and Fire champion and will be collecting a check for $10,000. Good job.
Oh, my God. Oh.
How do you feel right now?
I'm 18-year-old, and I'm the Forged and Fire champion. What just happened?
Well, I think the best blade just won, my friend. Come over here and shake our hands.
Oh, God. Didn't want to win this way, but I won, and that's kind of all that matters. I started bladesmithing seriously because of the show. I learned all that I had to learn to make it here, and I just won. This is the dream. Oh my God, man.
The Boar Spear. Developed as early as 700 AD in Europe, the Boar Spear was forged for both combat and hunting. Known at the time as a bar spear, the weapon was about 5 to 6 feet long and featured a pair of lugs below the leaf-shaped blade. When hunting, the lugs would stop a speared boar from running up the length of the weapon and attacking the user. In combat, the lugs could be used to hook and pull away enemy shields. The blade of the spear could be decorated, with some featuring finely engraved scenes of hunts. On the first season of Game of Thrones, King Robert Baratheon carried a boar spear on his final boar hunt.
Bladesmiths, this is the sharpness test. To see how sharp your boar spears are, we will test the tip and the edge by stabbing and slashing through these sandbags.
All right.
Clayton, you're up first. You ready?
I'm ready.
Well, Clayton, the balance of your tip lends itself to stabbing. Your edge lacerated cleanly on a moving sandbag. What surprised me was the positioning of your lug. Traditionally, they have it crosswise this way, but you have it this way. Because of that, it was hard to index when you're cutting through. But then again, it will cut.
Thank you.
Alan, you're next. Ready?
Oh, yeah.
Well, Alan, your spear feels good to hold on to. It was easy to index and know where the edge was, so that was a nice slash that I could penetrate through. And in the thrust, it felt good in the hand.
All right.
I can see a little bow in your handle. But when we're talking about the sharpness test, this, sir, will cut.
All right.
Next up is a kill test. To see what kind of lethal damage your weapon can do, I will deliver lethal blows to this wild boar carcass. Dayton, you're up first. Are you ready?
Absolutely.
Well, Clayton, your boar spear right here did very well on the thrust, penetrating all the way through on the low line and on the high line. On the edge, it lacerated cleanly, and testing the other side, it cut all the way through the spine. This, sir, will kill. Good job.
Thank you.
Alan, you're next. You ready?
Oh, yeah.
Let's do this. Well, Alan, let's talk about your blade. On the thrust, it penetrated all the way through. On the laceration on one side of your edge, boy, wow, it almost sliced all the way through. On your other edge, it lacerated through the spine. This spear, sir, will kill.
All right.
Next up is a strength test. Dave?
Gentlemen, it's been said that the sword is the prince of all weapons, but the spear is the king. To test the strength of your boar spears, I'm going to load them into our air cannon here and fire them into this wooden target.
It's a fun test. Thrilled to see it go down. I just can't wait.
We'll see how deep it penetrates, how well it holds up, and if it holds up while I remove the spear from the target.
Awesome.
Clayton, you're up first. You ready?
I am.
All right, let's do this.
Oh, man. I'm just hoping that my handle stays together. I'm hoping that after it impacts the wood, that it doesn't break the blade off or something like that.
In 3, 2, 1. Well, Clayton, your spear really dug in deep. It went in about 4 inches. Came out fine. Everything's still tight and dialed in. This is interesting, being offset.
Being that it's a boar spear, I wanted to make sure that whatever laceration the blade produced on the animal wasn't wide enough to allow the wings to come through. And the best way to do that was just make them perpendicular.
All right, nicely done.
Thank you.
Alan, you're up. In 3, 2, 1. All right, Alan, that buried itself quite nicely. It went into about there again, about 4 inches deep. Like the leaf shape on this. I like the fact that you hand hammered the socket. I was kind of worried when I put this in our machine that slight warp in your shaft there would bind up, but not a problem. Good job.
Thank you.
Bladesmiths, the judges have completed their deliberation and they've made a final decision. Both of you have turned in fantastic boar spears. However, in this arena of competition, there can only be one Forged in Fire champion. Alan, congratulations. You are the Forged in Fire champion.
Congratulations.
You did awesome.
Clayton, your boar spear did not make the cut.
Clayton, this was not an easy decision to make. Because of your perpendicular lugs, it was hard to visually index your blade, meaning it's hard to tell where the cutting edge is. That makes it a less effective weapon. And for that, we have to let you go.
No, I understand.
Clayton, please surrender your weapon.
Right now, obviously, I'm a little bit disappointed, but this is the first spear I made, and for me, it's really important that it was such a tight race. I don't want it to be anything that I handed him or anything that he would have handed me. Alan is the deserving champion.
Alan, congratulations. You are the Forged in Fire champion, and with that comes a check for $10,000. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You know what I really appreciate about that is the fact that you took the time to actually hammer that cone out. Making that socket is a really nice touch on any kind of traditional spear. So well done.
I am the Forged in Fire champion. I cannot believe it. I had no idea if it was going to be me or him, and it was me. I'm betting being a Forged in Fire champion is going to help this stay-at-home dad / knife maker convince a few people that they should try out my blades. That's great.
is a Maasai lion spear. The Maasai lion spear gets its name from an East African tribe of fearsome warrior nomads that date their origins back to the 15th century. Traditionally used to hunt lions, the weapon features a double-edged blade at one end and a fearsome spike at the other. This allows a Maasai warrior to engage his opponent in close quarters or at a distance. While today lion hunts have been replaced, the deadly spear lives on in popular culture and can even be spotted in the film Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, The Cradle of Life.
To see how lethal your weapon is, I will take your spear and deliver lethal blows on this big carcass. Matt, you're up first. Are you ready?
Ready as I'll ever be.
Let's do this.
What I'm most worried about is lateral force on this spear because it's a very thin, sleek spear. Well, that sucks.
Matt, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This is bad. Your weapon has suffered a catastrophic failure and cannot continue with testing. However, John, we can't just declare you the Forged in Fire champion. Your blade has to hold up for at least a stab and a slash on this carcass. Doug?
I don't know what to say. I don't know what to think. I've never been more, nervous in my life. I'm hoping and praying that it doesn't break in the same spot.
Bladesmiths, as they're designed, these tests push your weapons to the limit. John, your blade survived the 2 cuts on our carcass. Matt, that means, unfortunately, your blade did not make the cut. I have to ask you to please leave the forge.
Congrats, man. I'm happy for you. I'm disappointed. Given what I know now, I would have gone back and really tried chopping some things very hard with the spear and hopefully broken the handle myself. I'm really happy for John. Maybe I'm not happy to lose to John, but I'm glad John won.
John, congratulations. You built a weapon that held up in our test. That makes you our new Forged in Fire champion, who also receives a check for 10 grand. How do you feel right now?
I feel like $1 million, but I guess 10 grand will do.
All right, well, come on over here and shake our hands.
Good job, bud.
Thank you.
Very good.
I'm gonna have to talk to my wife about what I'm allowed to do with this prize money. I know one thing, my baby girl's gonna get in a little new wardrobe.
The Boar Sword. Specifically designed for the hunt, the Boar Sword originated from 16th century Germany. Featuring a long reinforced blade with a spear-like head, this weapon was built to both thrust and withstand the power of a charging boar. The weapon also contained a crosspiece built into the blade that functioned as a guard to stop the animal from sliding down the weapon and injuring the user. Given its highly specific nature, boar swords were never used extensively by the public or by militaries, but were the favorite hunting weapon of the founder of the Landsknecht mercenaries and patriarch of the Habsburg dynasty, 16th century Holy Roman Emperor Maximilian.
All right, bladesmiths. To test the lethality of your boar swords, I will deliver thrusts and cuts on this boar carcass. John, you're first. You ready for this?
Absolutely.
Good luck.
Thanks, man. I can't wait to see what my sword does to that boar. I want to see whether or not it will kill.
All right, John. First up, I like the balance. I like that I can put two hands in it. It's ovoid enough to where I can hold on and I can tell where the edge is. And when we're pushing and thrusting as it's meant to be, the tip is sharp enough to thrust all the way through. Your edges, as you can see, are sharp enough to cut pieces out of this boar carcass. Overall, sir, it'll kill.
Thanks, sir.
Congrats.
Thanks, man.
All right, Isaac, your turn. Are you ready for this?
Let's make some bacon.
All right, Isaac. First up, it's much lighter. So it's easier to control when you're moving with the blade. And as you can see, when I was thrusting in there, the point you have here, the edges are very sharp. It thrusts all the way in. And even when it hits bone, it's got a very good flex to it. Did not pick up a bend. Overall, sir, your boar sword will make bacon and kill.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, it's time for the strength test, the sheet metal stab. Now, to test the strength and overall construction of your blades, I'll be stabbing into the sheet metal. But this test is not about what your blades do to that target. It's about what that target does to your blades. Jonathan, you're here first. You ready?
Absolutely.
All right, Jonathan, your blade is still sharp pretty much all the way to the tip. Now, the tip did get flattened a little bit, but that was a very, very acute tip that you had on there. All in all, it's a comfortable weapon. It's certainly held up beautifully. Nicely done.
Thank you.
All right, Isaac, are you ready for this?
As ready as I'm gonna be. There's definitely a significant bend.
All right, there's a good flex in your blade, which we saw in an earlier test. But when you quenched this blade, I'm assuming right in here somewhere was where that quench stopped. So this is not really solid right here. You did lose your tip up here, but your edges held up. It's still sharp, but you can just see there's an obvious issue with that bend there.
All right, bladesmiths, this is the sharpness test. To find out if there's any sharpness left on your tip and edges, I will take your weapon and stab and slash at this deer hide. Now, unlike the strength test, this is all about what your blade will do to this deer hide. John, you're first. You ready for this?
Let's do it.
All right, John. Looking at the tip here, I can see where it flattened out. Took a little bit of effort to be able to puncture through, but it did. Your edges are still sharp. The cuts are clean. Overall, sir, you'll cut.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Isaac, your turn, sir. You ready?
I am. That's about what I expected.
I straightened it.
Oh, did you?
The damage to your tip on the strength test really took it out. There is no tip to this anymore. I can put my finger on that. But the edge of your blade on both sides, as you can see, cut all the way through. Now, the interesting thing to note is that all that bending actually straightened your blade. Overall, sir, beautiful cut.
Thank you.
Bladesmiths, the judges have deliberated right here on the forge floor. They've made their final decision. Isaac, your blade didn't make the cut. Your blade took a bend in the strength test. And for that reason, I have to ask you to please leave the forge. Well, Jonathan, it would appear that warrior ethos runs deep in you because not only are you an active duty Marine, you are also the Forged in Fire champion. That's a title that comes with a check for $10,000. Congratulations.
Thank you. Being Forged in Fire champion, it feels great.
Good job, brother.
It's a boost of confidence. It's not the big things that really matter. It's the little things, the attention to detail that make a big difference.